Good evening, everyone. Jerry, good evening. I saw you a little. Michelle Lindsay, how are you?
Hello. Great, thank you.
Chief Trezino, good to see you. Howard.
Hi, Ken.
Mary Gretzer, welcome. I'll call this meeting to order. The regular bi-monthly town board meeting for Monday, March 13th, 2023. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:02 PM. As always, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have two agenda items. A resolution to approve and authorize the supervisor to sign a 2023 Stop DWI intermunicipal agreement with Orange County. And the second item is a resolution to introduce a local law entitled Police Mutual Aid and schedule a public hearing. Any comments or questions about those agenda items, Jerry? No? Very good. I see Nana Lynn is on as well. I think I know that lady. That might be my wife. Okay, so since there are no public comments on the agenda items, I'll just dive into agenda item number one. The approving and authorizing the supervisor to sign the 2023 Stop DWI intermunicipal agreement with Orange County. I'll read the resolution, and it states, whereas the town of Tuxedo desires to enter into the annual agreement with the County of Orange to provide enforcement patrol funding to the town from March 12th through January 1st, March 12th, 2023 through January 1st, 2024. And whereas the town board hereby approves and authorizes the supervisor to sign the agreement in the form annexed with the County of Orange for the period of March 12, 2023 through January 1st, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved, and we'll take a vote, but first let me make a motion for this resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Maria May. Open to town board discussion. Howard, you want to say a few words about what this annual exercise is, and maybe the chief can weigh in as well?
Sure. This is an annual agreement we enter into with Orange County. It's a countywide program to assist local municipal police departments in enforcing the law regarding DWI. And there's a small amount of funding that comes with it, but it's a worthwhile effort, and it works. I've reviewed the contract, and it's in similar form to those in the past. And it's in perfect form for your action.
Thank you, Howard. Chief, did you want to comment from the point of view of the police?
I think Howard covered pretty much everything, but what I can say is that the collaboration that's usually involved with the county and throughout the county really helps the law enforcement efforts to all the local departments. And, I think we'd welcome that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it.
Any further comment from town board members?
No?
Maria? Michelle?
No.
No, we certainly all support this effort, so I'll just take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Let it be unanimous. So first, make note that Jay Reichgott is on vacation this week. Okay, that motion passed unanimously. Agenda item number 2, the resolution to introduce local law entitled Police Mutual Aid and schedule a public hearing. I'll read this about a couple of pages here. I want to give you the background information by reading it. This is a draft of a local law The introductory local law, police mutual aid states, be it enacted by the town board of the town of Tuxedo, County of Orange, state of New York as follows. Section 1, the code of the town of Tuxedo is hereby amended to add a new Article 3 to Chapter 21 to read as follows. Article 3, mutual aid, 21-13. Pursuant to the authority granted by New York General Municipal Law 209-U3, the town hereby delegates to the chief of Tuxedo Police or the police officer in command of the police department or police force of the town during the absence, illness, or disability of the chief of police, who is authorized to exercise the power of the chief of police in emergency situations, the following mutual aid powers granted in GML 209-U. Letter A, when the public interest so requires, to request another local government to detail, assign, and make available for duty and use in the town of Tuxedo its police forces, equipment, and supplies. B, when the public interest so requires, to grant police assistance to another local government. 21-14, the decisions as to whether the town of Tuxedo shall assume and/or donate any resulting loss, damage, expense, or cost for such equipment and supplies and services to the receiving local government shall remain a town board determination in such instance. Section 2, severability. If a court of competent jurisdiction determines that any clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or the application thereof to any person, firm, or corporation, or circumstance is invalid or unconstitutional, the court's order or judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this local law, but shall be confined in its operation to the clause, sentence, paragraph, subdivision, or part of this local law, or in its application to the person, individual, firm, or corporation, or circumstance directly involved in the controversy in which such judgment or order shall be rendered. And then Section 3, the effective date. This local law shall become operative and take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. That had a lot of verbiage that we pay Howard Prater to interpret for us. Chief, let me make a motion first so that the town board can get involved in this discussion. I'd like to make a motion to discuss this resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Deirdre Murphy seconded that. Chief, you and
Yes,
I,
sir.
you communicated with the town board.
Yes, sir.
I've seen, I've been to meetings when you were working in the Orange County Sheriff's Department at the Ren Fair and at the intermunicipal cooperation that has been assembled most recently in Tuxedo, bringing together the Orange County Sheriff's Department, the New York State Troopers, certainly Town of Tuxedo Police, and of course also associated emergency services of fire and ambulance. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your experience and why this law is important to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the general consensus out there in the public, and I was included in this, was that there was somewhere in the world a county plan where mutual aid was already spelled out. Now, just to put that in comparison, the fire services have had a county plan in place since 1954. There is no police plan as yet. So this was something I was kind of stumbled upon. I work with the Police Chiefs Association on the committee for a county response. Once this came to light, we all started moving very quickly to try to rectify this. So it's not just a Tuxedo problem. I'd say it's probably every jurisdiction in the county. So what the public expects is that if Tuxedo only has so many cops on and we run into a problem that is going to require more cops, that our neighboring jurisdictions out of good faith are going to come and help. It's what we saw in 9/11 in New York City. It's what we've seen for 100 years in law enforcement. But without any kind of written plan or written document, Well, we have to go back to state law, and that's what's holding us. So that's the state law that you cited, and in which case the powers to request mutual aid then go to the town supervisor, not the police chief or the senior police officer on scene. Now, the problem with an emergency scene is that when you need resources, you're feeling the effects of what's happening at that scene. So just like our volunteer firemen can get to a scene and say, hey, we need more fire trucks, and they're empowered to do that. Well, our police forces are not. And we would have to try to call you. And if you're not available, then try to muddle through that. Or if we know that you're home, but you just didn't answer the phone, or, stuff like that. So again, just to put it in perspective, if one of my officers is on an emergency scene, even though I'm the chief, if I'm not there, I'm not assuming command because I'm not on the scene. I'll go to the scene and assume command, but the senior police officer on the scene is in charge of that scene. So that's why I think it's so important that we enact this local law as directed by the state law that you cited, that's how we're able to empower the police department again. So just trying to keep in step with our brothers and sisters in EMS and fire. And I don't know how it got away from us, but we can certainly fix it.
So Howard, if it's called clause 2113, seems to address the concern of, this is an emergency situation, as the chief was outlining. Time is of the essence. If the chief is on duty at the time, obviously he assumes control of the situation, or the officer in charge. That seems clear. The purpose there seems to be somewhat dependent on other towns also passing similar type local laws, correct, Howard? You're on mute, Howard, sorry.
Yeah, under existing state law, local communities have always had the power to provide the mutual aid we're talking about. The problem is it's the executive branch of that government that has to request or consent. So in the case of a town, it's the supervisor. In the case of a village, it's a mayor, et cetera. So as the chief described, it's one level away from the guys actually experiencing the emergency, who have direct knowledge of the emergency. So if all the police departments and all the municipalities enact a law like this, then the police can call other police departments and they can immediately respond. If our neighboring municipality hasn't adopted such a law, they can still respond, but only when their chief executive officer in the municipality says it's okay.
Right.
And that's where the delay comes in, that this local law will obviate.
So then 2114 talks about donating the expenses, I guess, in a situation, the cost of the police time and any equipment.
Yeah. The
So
reason
I
for
guess
that,
upon request, donating, or I guess this is to deal with that we wouldn't be expecting to bill another municipality.
whether you do or not is up to you. And
I see.
that's what this law says. That decision remains with you because you're entitled to bill the other municipality that has officially requested mutual aid from you.
So I guess 2114 just clarifies that although the decision in the field to seek municipal aid is given to the chief of police or the person in charge, the officer in charge, the decision whether or not to seek the funding that was cost to the town is still left up to the town board.
Correct.
Okay.
Do we know if the jurisdiction near us have adopted such law, like Monroe or Harriman or
Wilkes-Barre,
Wilkes-Barre?
Severn,
Well,
Rampart.
within Orange County, that's the very purpose of the committee that I was shanghaied to be on. So we are getting to that, and we're probably the first, and it's going to happen rapid succession for the others. Um, again, we only just really came upon it very recently, and I acted immediately once it came to light. So the other ones will be if we have to, tighten up any language or anything, between any kind of mutual aid agreements or anything like that, then we can certainly do that. But just getting the local law in place is the most important step for all of us.
Okay.
Did you have a question, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Please, go ahead.
I didn't think I would be here, sorry.
Yeah, you can get this one. Oh, you got it.
The questions I have, is something like this agreement in effect with the U.S. Postal Service and or MTA?
No,
No,
There you go.
The-
Word answer.
right. I've been to multiple scenes where federal agents have been there. They already have jurisdiction. So if there's a postal inspector that has law enforcement capabilities that happens to be in the area during some sort of a crisis, he will be more than welcome to be on the scene as long as he reports to staging properly the way that we follow protocol.
Same with MTA?
Same with anybody that's got jurisdiction.
Okay.
Well, thank you for doing this. Looks like this is something that will protect our residents
Yes, ma'am.
by not having to waste time trying to, get this help in an emergency.
Absolutely, ma'am. And thank you for pointing that out. Every town has its events and functions, and those are mass gathering locations. And we stand to benefit from this, if not as much more so than anybody else because of what we have. So that's why it was so important.
Yeah, I'd probably highlight the word more so with the Ren Fair and with
Right.
the vast public parklands that we have and the chances for accidents and, difficult rescue situations that only require skilled professionals with the right tools. So,
100%.
you have any further questions?
My only question is this just restricted to Orange County, or would this be also a partnership with Rockland County, seeing that Ramapo is so close by?
Geographically, that is a benefit to us, and it's not outside of the realm of possibility. But the easy thing first is going to be working within the county. Then we could do the hard work. And even though it's so close to us, it's not close to the rest of the county. So, when they drew up the borders, somebody had to be by that line, right? Well, that's us.
yeah,
So
and frankly, if municipality in Rockland County reached out and asked Tuxedo
yes,
to respond with mutual aid, the chief, under this law, the chief could say, yes, we'll do it.
Oh, okay, that was my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I-
fine.
Yeah,
I was
I
understanding
wanted to
something
make
else. I
sure that there
apologize.
was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this
they
apply-
can't, they still have to ask their supervisor or
Correct.
county,
correct,
town supervisor too.
but they're not restricted from asking.
Right.
correct.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I thought you meant were they as a county trying to do what we're doing? All right. So yes, we still have the ability of asking for or sending mutual aid.
And do we know that the Rockland County is considering this or not, or?
Well, I could tell you that when I was with Orange County, that I was one of the people that helped to get an inter-county MOUs throughout our surrounding counties. So with Rockland, Sullivan, Ulster, to have these shared resources and mutual aid protocols in place. So that was kind of the springboard that made us start to think within the county when I became the local police chief. Now kind of took a life of its own. So I don't know that Rockland is doing what we're doing within our county, but we have done it throughout the counties. So I don't think it would be a hard thing for them to do what we're doing. That's taking that next step and saying, hey, everybody, within the county, or, hey, who's close to the county line, and start to get all those in place. Again, 25 years ago, even though the law was in place, nobody would have asked the question. It's all good faith that you're trying to do the right thing. It's good Samaritan, and somebody's in need and you're going to help them. But in today's day and age, you need it on paper as well.
It
Yeah,
just
the
seems
pub-
like the key element here is that you can make the decision, the command decision immediately and not have to be searching for a supervisor or a deputy supervisor or a council person at 3:00 in the morning when
Right.
an
Yeah,
incident might happen.
Yeah, I've had situations in the past, one situation in particular, where I represented a village within a town, and the town supervisor, well, the town had an incident in which they requested the village to respond. And this same scenario came into play, and it had to go to the mayor. And he said yes. And the police department responded. When the police department responded, there was an accident, and the police car was damaged due to a chase situation.
Right.
And so then the question came up: all right, who's going to pay for the damage? Hence this provision here about the decision about whether you're going to eat the cost or bill comes into play.
Right.
Well, my understanding is that as state law, that we would retain the costs unless we're able to come to an understanding with the people that the jurisdiction we were helping. I don't say that lightly, but it certainly comes into the decision making side of it as well. That we don't just ask for this lightly, nor do we give it lightly.
Right.
We're not going to send it for just anything. If there are police officers that genuinely need our help, or citizens that genuinely need our help, then we're bound by oath to do that.
Yeah. I don't have any further
No,
questions. Do
you
you?
don't need
No.
it.
Good, yep.
Okay, so I'll read the resolution now. Resolution introducing the local law. We actually have to have a public hearing. I think that's what we're trying to schedule, right, Howard?
Correct.
You said you have anything?
So I'll make the resolution. So the resolution, be it resolved that an introductory local law entitled Police Mutual Aid be and is hereby introduced by myself, Ken English, Town Supervisor, before the Town Board of the Town of Tuxedo and the County of Orange, the State of New York, and be it further resolved that copies of aforesaid proposed local law be laid upon the desk of each member before the board, which we all have and I've just read, and be it further resolved that the board hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at Town Hall, 1 Temple Drive, Tuxedo, New York, at 7 p.m. on March 27th, 2023. And be it further resolved that the clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the town of Tuxedo of said public hearing at least 10 days prior thereto. On a motion made by myself and seconded by Deirdre Murphy, the resolution was adopted. We'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Be it noted that 4 ayes and 1 absentee. Okay, so we'll schedule that for then, 27th.
Excuse me.
All right, it's officially on my calendar. All right, monthly reports. I'm in receipt of following monthly reports from the building department, the justice court, and the town clerk. My pen just self-destructed.
You need another one?
Uh,
There. We were having a pen issue today.
Yeah, what happened? No, This is it.
You need a pen?
No, I think I could reassemble it.
Okay.
Right,
That's it.
mine just died.
Yep. There we go. Add that to my resume, pen assembler. Okay, I'd like to give the floor over to Mr. Robert Dolban,
We're at that point already?
Superintendent of Highways.
Well, everybody knows what's happening this evening, tomorrow and tomorrow evening, so we are prepared to be out and about. We are down 2 men, 1 truck. So if by chance we get there a little late or it's a little slower, we will get there. We will take care of all your problems, even the ones that live on cul-de-sacs. So we will get there. We are working on a rock pile diligently, moving along. I have one thing that I have to bring up to the board about that, is for the last 3 years, we have been renting a mini excavator from Durante Rentals. The cost is $25.50 a month. No option to buy. I would like to turn that in and get a new John Deere mini excavator for $1,500 a month with a 5-year lease purchase. So you lease it, the money you rent it for is going towards a purchase instead of going towards nothing. And Durante, because there's a shortage on minis, that's the problem. And Durante is not willing to work with us in any fashion. So I'm tired of fixing their equipment. I'm tired of repairing their machines. So we are going to trade that in for a new John Deere Mini and cut the payment down $1,000 a month. We will be using it at least for another 3 years on the dirt pile. It's a piece of equipment that we can use.
So the John Deere that you're interested in is not through the same vendor?
No,
And the current lease that we're under can be terminated without penalty?
without penalty at any time.
Okay, good. And so, do you have a sticker price on the John Deere overall?
Overall, I think it's 77,000.
And I didn't do the math, but
Well, what do you need to know? So
of 5
15
years times,
It's 1,500 a year, so it's
1,500?
18,000 a year for 5 years.
Right,
You pay it off, you're done.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is, yes. No
Is
money
it on-
down.
Is it on state bid?
Yes, it is, Howard.
Perfect.
Yeah, state bid.
So instead of leasing, you're basically,
You
it's like a
purchase it.
mortgage, you're buying it.
Right,
And it's brand new, right?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we
that's-
get to use it for 5 years and,
Well, we get to own it. Then we-
right.
And we
At the
do,
end, we would have paid 90 and it's 77, so
right,
I understand.
so.
Well, we would have paid a lot more if we rented it, right? If we
Oh,
rent-
yeah.
If
Well,
we leased
we
it.
would
yeah.
have. ended up with
The
nothing.
problem is we need a mini to keep doing the work we're doing. So without an end game for this other machine and at $1,000 a month more, it doesn't pay to keep renting the machine.
Right.
Well,
So,
especially
So
with the
it's gonna
difference
be-
of $25.50 a month times
Right.
12 is huge.
yeah,
It's 30,000 times 5 is 150
Yeah.
versus 77.
right. So that's one thing. And I will get you, I think Carrie may have all the information on it, but I'll get you all the information. Second thing is, while we're talking about the dirt pile, the rock pile, I would like to rent a crusher. Crusher is going to make gravel and item and riprap out of the rocks that we have. Instead of continuing separating everything by hand and separating the rock from the stuff, the crusher has a belt where you can pick the garbage and the wood and contaminants off so that you can crush just rocks. You can make a road base, you can make gravel, and we can make riprap, which is bigger rock. I'm looking into that right now to see, that might speed up the process a little bit and then give us a usable product instead of just another pile of rocks. So,
Right.
yeah, so I'm looking into that.
Okay.
But that's there. We are still cutting trees till the end of the month. We finished our Laurel Ridge section. We're over in Clinton Woods. And we probably, hopefully might finish Clinton Woods by the end of the season. We'll be filling up the mulch bins and the compost bins because it's getting that time of year. And I guess start getting ready for spring and summer activities. So,
I don't get regular updates from utility companies, so like, for example, the cable companies are doing work, and I know the pipeline company's still doing some,
well, they're, right, they're still, they have to make they're gonna do a spur to every house.
right,
So they're gonna put in a new service, not only in the main, but the service from the main to each house. That should have been done a while ago, but it hasn't been finished yet.
That's for what?
Laurel Ridge.
Laurel
section.
Ridge,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's what the equipment is at Quarry Field.
Right.
That's their equipment. And they should be done hopefully in another month or so. I've cleared all the tickets. We've marked all our underground utilities, and they should be moving along as we speak. So,
one concern I have is just, you know, I think we've been very cooperative in accommodating them parking their vehicles there. You know, I go over there almost every day. It's not as tidy as I would hope it would be, and I hope they would leave the area at least as good as they found it. And I don't know what the
yes,
your
that's,
contact is there.
they will, and I will get, I know Michelle had said something about that also. I'll get on them, tell them to do a little housekeeping, get it cleaned up, yeah.
Thank you.
Rob, is that the pipeline for natural gas?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because, we had, when we passed the community choice aggregation law, it was for electricity supply and natural gas supply. So after we finish the community choice aggregation program, we're going to start on natural gas. So just wanted to make sure that we were supplying it to all the residences.
Yes, I believe they have, all the residents in Laurel Ridge have natural gas. They're just replacing an existing line. They're
I
not-
understand though, that for whatever reason, Sylvan Way wasn't included in that gas line. Because I have
Right.
some friends who live on Sylvan Way, and that caught me by surprise. They were asking
Right.
me, well, why wouldn't they run a line down Sylvan Way now that they're there? Wouldn't really know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
So if you
That's
have a
something I
contact
can-
there, I'd like to at least reach out to them and.
I can reach out to them, absolutely.
Propose the notion. I mean, you're running a gas line. Can you complete the line down through the residents of Sylvan Way?
Absolutely, down to the sewer plant,
Right,
sure.
thank you. Anything else, Rob?
That tree's done, spring, good to
So
go.
what is the next steps with this piece of equipment? Do we have to vote on it, or
Guess,
what do we do?
because we are renting it for the bird pile, I'm not sure what the process would be, Howard.
Well, we need an agreement,
Right,
and once we have the agreement, the town board could approve it.
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay, so you'll get an agreement and we'll,
Yes.
yeah,
yes,
okay.
yeah. I have 3 bids. I have, they're all state bids, different, within $1,000 of each other.
Mhm.
And one was I tried to bid all 3 John Deere tractors, but I got 2 John Deeres and 1 Cat tractor. I'm trying to
The
keep it.
government contract, so that's actually not even required from what I understand. Howard, could you opine on that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question.
Well, Rob was just saying he had 3 bids, 2 on the John Deere model that he's most interested in, one in a competitor's version. But I thought that since it is an approved state vendor, that you really don't even need to go that route. But it's, of course, good to find out competitively what the pricing is.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Ken. As long as somebody's on that state bid for the equipment that he's looking for, he can buy it. And, subject to town board approval, of course.
Right.
But yeah, that's the beginning and the end of the bidding process, so to speak, on that type of item.
All three bids that I got were state bid vendors. I just got them to compare, and there is like the same machine, a $5,000 difference between one state bid vendor and another. That's just somebody, they don't, just because it's on state bid doesn't mean they have to sell it at state bid pricing.
Oh,
So
that's
they
interesting.
can sell it at whatever rate they want to sell it at. And being how there's quite a demand for the minis, I guess some people think that they can get it. One guy was at 82,000, he dropped down to 77. One guy was at 79,000 and went up to 81,000. So,
Right.
it's, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Still pays to shop around.
right,
Isn't
absolutely.
there a song about that? You better shop around. Well, thank you for shopping around.
There you go, Ken. All right, that's what I got.
Marissa Dolbaum, Town Clerk.
I'm actually going to defer my time to the board. I don't have anything earth shattering, so.
Well, thank
We
you.
can get out of here.
No rush on marriages or anything
Before-
going on?
No,
I know you sold a fishing license.
I
recently.
did, so you're free to fish, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll move to the town supervisor's update. My update for Monday, March 13th, Tuxedo LDC, the Tuxedo Local Development Corporation. That's the Hamlet Revitalization Agency. 3 applications for Hamlet Revitalization funds have been submitted to the Tuxedo LDC Board. The projects are subject to planning and ARB, Architectural Review Board approvals. Applicants are responding to board feedback, and we expect to receive completed submissions at our next meeting, which is Thursday, March 23rd, 5 p.m. The Tuxedo Farms LDC. As president, what a title, of the Tuxedo Farms LDC, the agency that owns the new sewer plant, I've been managing the coordination of the startup of the new plant and the emergency actions needed to remediate the excessive inflow of stormwater into the system. The key goal that's happening now is Inliner Solutions. We just approved an agreement for $62,400 to begin the scoping work necessary to analyze the storm and groundwater infiltration into the Hamlet Sewer District's collection system. The system is currently feeding a much larger than anticipated amount of water into the new sewer plant. We expect this work to begin next week. Rob Dolbaum's team have provided a detailed analysis of where the suspected trouble spots are, which will save money and time needed to identify the areas of concern. The next meeting for the Tuxedo Farms LDC is the annual meeting, and it's scheduled for Wednesday, March 22nd at 10 a.m. The meeting will be both in person at Tuxedo Town Hall and live streamed on the town's Zoom account. All meetings are recorded and available on demand through our website. Next item is the Tuxedo Club tax certiorari claim settled. The total amount of the refunds to the Tuxedo Club for 2023, town and county taxes, is $65,851.06. Approximately $41,200 is for town taxes, and $24,651 are county taxes. That is an approximately 47% reduction from the prior assessed values. But I can tell you that our attorney worked diligently to negotiate this settlement, and we feel that we received about the best deal we could have hoped for under state law. One other item, we made our final payment on a settlement of a legal action. The last payment was made on a $250,000 settlement regarding the property at 60 Wood Road owned by Mr. Howard Schaub. This ends an obligation that was paid over 5 years. The 2024 town budget can eliminate this expense line, so we're finally settled that claim. And that's it for me. I'll pass the baton to Miss Lindsay.
Ken,
Hi, everybody.
email that to me, please.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, Mary, can you say that again?
Can you email a copy of your report to me, please?
We'll absolutely do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Deirdre and I have been working on the plans to implement a portion of the Burgess study to improve infrastructure in the Hamlet Business District to encourage economic activity. And we hope to make that presentation this evening so we can move forward with the application to the Tuxedo LDC grant fund. Obviously, we need the town's agreement to make the commitment of the matching funds. And then we can then go out with an RFP for the construction costs. So we hope to make that presentation tonight. The other thing I'm working on, I did hear back from DASNY, that's the Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, that actually finalizes the state aid grants. And we have revived the $75,000 grant from probably 8 years ago for highway vehicles. So we submitted the estimates that Rob gave me for vehicle and accessories for that vehicle. And now we just need to take the next steps to finalize and get that money. In another capacity, I will be meeting with Congressman Ryan on Thursday. So I will probably have an opportunity to talk a little bit about our request for federal funding for the Hamlet sewer infrastructure. So Maria, I'll be talking to you before Thursday to see where we stand with our letters to him, okay? Which I'm sure you're going to report on.
Maria?
So, so I have two. The first one is two things to report on. The first one is it's called the Community Funding Project, and that is a project, that is a funding opportunity that congressmen get from the federal government starting in 1922, where they can pick a number of municipalities that need funding for a project or another. There are different kinds of projects. So one of the kinds of project is infrastructure and water infrastructure particularly. So we're submitting a preliminary application for this grant. And as part of this, Dale, because you had an email for me. We need letters from the community. We have received 3 so far, or actually 3 people have already sent letters to Congressman Ryan, Anthony Davidson from the Tuxedo Public Library, Mayor McFadden from Tuxedo Park, and Noreen Fennell from the Chamber of Commerce. So basically, we're asking, I also wrote letters to Congressman, to Senator Skoufis and to Assemblyman Brabenec, not only explaining the problem and the implications, but also really talking about how the implications of this problem with the sewer, it's happening in the center of town. It's our business district. It's where the school and the library and all these other important town hall, right? I forgot to put town hall actually, but anyway, so that is in the process. We are still getting information from Sean Hoffman about the exact costs of the project. I think a part of this is we have to be willing to pay 20% of the cost of the project, which of course we will do. But, so we're in the process. This is the preliminary application. And then we will hear back from them whether we got chosen or not. And then there'll be a more detailed application following. So fingers crossed.
Right. So our hat's in the ring now. And
Our hat's in the ring, yes. And I really thank the people who wrote letters on our behalf, and also hopefully the ones that haven't submitted them yet, but that will in the next couple of days. The other thing that I wanted to report on is our new recreation director. She started on Monday. Her hours are Monday, 9:30 to 3, Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 to 3. So if you need to get a hold of her, that's when she will be here. We are working on the April 22nd Earth Day run, and she got right to work. And we're also starting to make staff inquiries for the summer camp. She's looking at some of the employees that were there last year. And then if anybody in the community is interested in having, their, child or sending their child, that's who they need to contact. I think we have, the comments are later.
comments.
I think we have 2 questions, seems like.
Oh, you could take comments. if
Sure.
you want.
Sorry, thank you. I just want to comment quickly because I don't want to hold you up. I want to say thank you for hiring a new town rec very quickly. It's very appreciated. We have high hopes that everything will go well, and that it'll be a great year with her, and that she'll do well here in the town. And then also, I just wanted to bring up that previously, previous to last year, instead of a town Earth Day run, it was a town cleanup. And I know the school has reached out because they've organized one and the time is kind of clashing. So I would just kind of like to throw it out there. Maybe the Earth Day run could be organized for the Sunday instead of the Saturday. And it would be greatly appreciated if the town could throw its weight and support behind the school's effort to do a cleanup process for the town.
Yes, we just became aware of it today. Honestly, it's been Kathleen's 4th day today. And
Totally understand.
we became aware. I think that one of the things that we were thinking about is maybe going forward that we should plan with, particularly with the school, when we're doing a calendar for the year, when you guys are going to do things, and then when we want to do things, and so that this doesn't happen. Because I think this is not the first time that we've had a clash of schedules. So honestly, we scheduled it for the 22nd because that's the way it had been done last year. I'm not opposed to changing it to Sunday. We just have to make sure. The problem is that advertising has gone out on both sides.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the best solution, if anybody on the board thinks.
I had
has any
reached out
suggestions.
last week, but I hadn't. I had reached out last week, but I hadn't heard back. I know there was a couple of people who were out and stuff like that. Before the advertisement had gone up, I reached out on behalf of the school to say that this was going on. It's not even that it's the clash of the schedule; it's that the school could really use the town's support.
Right. Yes, I mean, believe it or not, I was part of the cleanup last year. That was done with the science club or whatever. So I think, we'll work it out. Perhaps
Yes.
this is something that we can work with the school, and Kathleen, I'm sure, will be flexible, and
We're
we
trying
are
to get
definitely
appointments with
flexible.
them. Yeah.
We thought it would be like run and clean, like go early to run and then walk over.
With
But
a
we
bag.
can- With a bag. So we definitely want, we want everybody to go to both events. And we're definitely fine with changing it. We just heard about it today. So.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem. I'll reach out to Marissa tomorrow and send her along again Thomas O'Reilly's email from the school so that you guys have that on hand and you can get coordinating. Okay.
Yes, and you know what? Maybe you should also reach out to Kathleen. She'll be here tomorrow so that you guys can start forming more of a bond, working together, the school and us. I think that would be a good thing. And
Perfect. Yeah,
get to
Marissa
know each
actually
other.
shared her email with me today, so I will definitely be reaching out to her. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned support from the town. Do you have a list of what that entails? What do you envision as support from the town?
Well, traditionally, the town typically organize the town cleanup and provided refreshments. So we would like, it on the website that this is going on, and perhaps if donations of refreshments can be made, that would be terrific. I know that they've partnered with the police department as well. So like a town presence is always very welcome. And then just the general spread of the word, because it's open to the community. And the more people that clean up, the more ground that can be covered and the quicker it can be done as well.
One thing that last year when we did it, I think, Rob, you gave us the garbage bags, gloves, safety vests, things like that. I'm sure that, and your men rode kind of along with us, at some points to pick up. We left the bags in different spots and they came and picked them up. And the police also needs to be part of this.
Yeah, they're on board. They've been coordinated with them. It was just, you were the last piece of the puzzle.
I think the critical element is where the cleanup is happening.
Yes.
And, so I could work with Chief Trezino to make sure that we have coverage and that it's a safe location.
I will get you Tom's email and he'll give you the whole terrain of what they're planning to cover.
Great. Aoife, if you need anything specifically from the police department, feel free to send me an email.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, folks, I'm going to leave you to the meeting. Thank you so much for letting me comment earlier. I appreciate it, and have yourselves a great night and stay safe tomorrow.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm sorry, Rob, you didn't get a chance to speak.
I had a question. What's the turnaround time on that bond or grant that you're looking at?
They said they want you to spend the money within a year.
Turnaround time to get the funds.
I mean, I imagine this is the different kind of funding stream from like the regular grants. So they specify that.
They commit to a dollar amount and you can
Right.
start at a.
So right
certain
now,
area?
that's the only part we don't have yet from Sean is exactly how much is this gonna cost, the whole project. But if, the one requirement is that work would be done within a year. So,
Work could be done within a year, but are they gonna fund it in a timely fashion? Or are you gonna wait 6 months, 8 months to get some kind of funding and then you can't get the project done in a year?
I think
That's the
Michelle has the
Rob?
answer.
Yes,
Rob?
Michelle. I didn't see you over there, sorry.
Hi, Rob.
How are you?
I'm good. We had talked about, and I had talked with Howard about the possibility of issuing a revenue anticipation note as soon as we are awarded the grant.
Okay.
I think one of the things you have to be careful about in these grant situations with the federal government, is that they typically won't fund things that have already been done.
Right.
Right.
And the problem I think that Rob is looking towards is he can't afford to delay work on this project in anticipation or in the hopes that at some point a grant will be approved. And that's where you may have a problem.
That's correct, Howard.
right.
And that was the point where
We
get
made it
grants.
clear to them in the letter that this is work that is happening,
Right.
emergency work.
I understand because our experience with grants, as Michelle knows, I'm waiting 8 years for a pickup truck.
Yeah, no.
So,
Yeah.
right. that-
It doesn't seem like
Government
this
and
is
work.
that. I think that this, we have looked at other grants, but this one is a special, this one is a
Okay.
different one.
Okay,
that-
good.
So we will, honestly, if we get picked, then we will know more specifically. But I think that they, sort of like the way ARPA was, when federal wants to give municipalities money because they think things need to get done, it it was really quick ARPA. We applied and within a few months, we had
Right.
$300,000, here, or whatever.
Got
So
it.
I think this is different. They did talk about, as much as they did, because it was such a preliminary email to us. I mean, there was an article Howard shared with us, and then we went to the Congressman's office, and, so we let you know. But I think they understand, I mean, we made it very clear in our communications with them that this is an emergency situation, and that we are already starting, well, we have to plug the leaks now, but we also want to reline the rest of the pipes, and that's kind of where the funding, it won't go to the emergency work that we're doing right now, but the work for the rest of the town that needs to be done.
And I can get in touch with our bond counsel to just see, get that at least preliminarily started. Yeah, what has to happen in order to issue those RANs. And so that as soon as you get the award, then we can move forward. But we
I
can't
think what-
move
Michelle-
forward until we get the award.
Yeah, Michelle, I think if you're going to be speaking with bond counsel about funding, you should also raise the prospect with him about doing a revenue not a revenue anticipation note, I'm sorry, a bond anticipation note,
Okay,
because you may have to just go borrow the money.
that's
get-
true. Okay, you're
So-
right. Revenue, and if we get, just-
Revenue, if
gotta get
you've got a grant approved, bond anticipation note, if you don't have any other source of money.
right.
But you need to speak to bond counsel for both of those.
Yeah, I'll get that conversation started.
And remind him that this is not a town-wide issue. It's a hamlet
It's
sewer.
a
issue.
district, right?
Anything else, Maria?
That's it for me.
Did you? If it's in reference to what Maria was talking about, we have a caller, 914 number. Can unmute yourself, *6. Go ahead, please.
Oh,
Can you
hey,
identify yourself?
good evening.
Wait,
Hi, can you hear me? It's Evelyn.
Evelyn,
Yes. Hi, how are you?
we're good.
Good. Okay, very fast question. Gas lines being put in or fixed up in Laurel Ridge, that is fantastic. I have a question. Warwick Brook Road is right next to the gas line. Why, any way they could get natural gas on that road?
You might be
That's a
confusing the Millennial Pipeline, which is a 30-inch
Oh, yes,
interstate
I am.
transmission line with a local Orange and Rockland replacement of
Yep.
an existing very small
Yep.
line. So
Yep.
it's a service line, no connection to Millennium.
Okey doke. All right,
Typically, I'm no franchise master, but those decisions are usually made by proximity of how many houses would be served by a line that has to run how far. So,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's very few houses on Warwick Brook Road, and it's
No, I know.
probably not all
I
that
know, so
cost
far.
effective. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe with the
Did-
addition of
I'm
some
won-
new.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. They also do not have a fire hydrant on that road, by the way, PS.
Okay.
You know that. I know you know that. Okay, the other thing is, very fast question. Tuxedo Farms is having their meeting at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, and you said March, and I didn't have my pen ready. Do you have that date again? I'm sorry to
22nd.
bother you.
March
Okay,
22nd.
all right.
That's the
Yeah.
Tuxedo Farms LDC that has to do with the sewer plant.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm not going to worry about that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And but seriously, fire hydrant on Warwick Brook Road. Do you think down the road maybe they get more houses? Maybe they'll put something in the
Well,
water.
then that would then have to deal with the franchise agreement with the water company. So I live in
Okay.
Laurel Ridge. I get my water from Veolia. I really don't have background information as to what the water situation is on Warwick Brook Road, but again, it would be a similar kind of situation. How many houses?
Okay.
I would imagine they actually run out of wells over there, but I'm not sure.
They do, but there is no fire hydrant. I remember when I was looking at something, and the first thing the insurance company said to me was, "Oh, no fire hydrant. Is there a fire hydrant? Are you close to a fire?" And I said, I'll have to go look," knowing full well there was no hydrant.
I think the pumpers draw water out of streams in
Yeah,
that case.
exactly. So much water over there.
So, thank you, Evelyn.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Probably
thank you
down
very
the
much.
scope.
Okay, everybody have a great evening. Be safe.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to end this meeting so we can go home and.
I know. I'm getting off. Thank you. Goodbye. See you. Okay.
Okay, Deirdre.
Yeah, two things. And now, did you want me to run you through the grant proposal? I can do that if we could throw a.
I respectfully would ask that we reschedule this for the next meeting. So
I
we
won't be at the next meeting,
But
so.
I wanted it to be so that we could publicize this for the residents. to
Yeah,
hear this.
unfortunately, because of timing, I can't be at the next meeting.
I haven't even
so-
had a chance to review.
Well, then I can just, if we just run it through, I could put the two things up and take you through it real fast. We have the two.
I would still respectfully ask that this be
well-
presented to town residents as well.
Of course, but I'd like to go through it since I spent the entire weekend writing it, so.
Okay,
if
but
we could
if you
just
could
put
hold on and we could deal with the rest of the business and we'll get back to that, okay?
Okay, can we, Marissa, can I get those two maps so that we can put it up and I can run?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it'll take me 5 minutes just to go through the maps.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that you were trying to do this today.
Yeah, I was, so,
Okay. Wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's okay, we'll work something out.
I was just trying to get it done because of all the timing, because of this LDC grant issues.
Right.
And I won't be at the next meeting, and I was out of commission for 3 weeks with being sick, so.
Okay.
All right, so the other two things I had is that the tourism grant, Howard, we can accept it upon your approval. Is it approved so that we can accept the tourism grant?
The tourism grant.
That's for the $4,950 from the last meeting. It was, we can accept it pending your
Yes.
review? Okay, great.
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're
And the other thing is, on the Greenway grant, we are going out for an RFP, I think that's what it's called. I wasn't aware that we had to do that. I initially was told we didn't, but now that I found out that's not true. So Howard is preparing that. And Howard, when do you think that'll be ready? So that
I
we
had
can-
hoped to have it today and I just ran out of time. I apologize.
Okay,
I'll have it to you within I could probably finish it up tomorrow.
Okay,
If you
great.
If you could do me a favor though, and just send me your final version of the plan,
the scope?
The scope,
Yeah, no problem.
then, because I need some of that data to put into the document. And I'll have
Okay.
it to you by the end of business tomorrow.
Okay, no problem. All right,
Very good, thank you.
thank you.
Moving forward to the minutes, I'll make a motion, ask for a second to accept the minutes of the regular bi-monthly town board meeting held on February 27, 2023. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll go with Deirdre. Everybody submit any comments to Marissa?
No, not me.
Okay, I'd like to take a vote to accept the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's done. Vouchers. Been given a list of all vouchers over $5,000. We'll make a motion, ask for a second, that the following vouchers having been audited by the town board are hereby approved for payment. Claim numbers 201-292, 1259 through 201-292, 1320. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Maria? So some of the larger ones were the $63,000, our monthly payment to the Rockland paramedic. Yeah, my door is open, Mercy, you could just grab that. Thank you. $61,000 for the town insurance installment billing, $27,000, the check from the courts to the Office of the State Controller. $7,521 for workers' comp, fuel billing, and the rental of the bucket truck, $5,600. Those are the main culprits. Any further comment from town board members?
No?
All in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Oh, is she looking for this?
No.
Oh,
She
okay.
That'll just need Deirdre.
Oh, okay.
I have some other business I'd like to announce. I'd like to take a few moments to enact a change in the organizational administration of the town. The developing complexities of certain projects that the town of Tuxedo is facing has caused the deputy supervisor, Michelle Lindsay, and myself to reflect on how to best manage the oversight of these projects. Michelle has been the lead force in guiding our town to analyze the issues of energy expenses and climate-smart strategies. These impact both the growing bottom line for the town energy costs and identify energy options that can stabilize these costs while promoting solutions that are favorable to the environment. Michelle has been a leader in the review and approval of the Tuxedo Farms project and a dedicated partner in updating our town zoning code. She's secured grant money to contribute to the replacement of our roof on Town Hall and has added her wisdom and actions to the many other accomplishments that have been delivered over the past 6 years. She continues to promote responsible economic development in our community and will work collaboratively with town board colleagues to identify opportunities. But the town now faces the challenge of developing a strategy for expanding the capacity of our building department to oversee the construction of the new Tuxedo Farms project. A large part of that oversight will be the review of architectural and engineering plans and deciding what resources and staffing we'll need to do the job. Additionally, I've been working closely with Councilman Jay Reichgott and Highway Superintendent Rob Dolbaum and Town Engineer Sean Hoffman to manage the required closing of the obsolete Hamlet Sewer Plant and the necessary remediation of the collection system that transmits the sewage effluent to the new plant. The collection system, like the obsolete plant, needs serious remediation that is driven by an up-to-date engineering plan. Councilperson Reichgott is a civil engineer with expertise that can help ensure Tuxedo can respond to these needs. Michelle has decided to step down from the deputy supervisor's position to continue and expand her leadership regarding our town's economic development strategies and policies that reduce our energy expenses while protecting our environment. With all this in mind, effective immediately, I've accepted Michelle's resignation as deputy supervisor and will now appoint Councilperson Jay Reichgott. So, whereas the town has previously created the position of deputy supervisor, and whereas Michelle Lindsay has, pursuant to my prior appointment, served in that position with distinction since January 2020, and whereas Michelle is stepping down from that position, I now therefore appoint J.H. Reichgott as deputy supervisor. Let the minutes of this meeting so reflect. This appointment will also transfer the duty of department head of the building department to deputy supervisor Jay Reichgott. But again, I'd like to give my sincere thanks to Michelle for all the hard work that she's done on this board even before I got here. And I pledge to support the work that she plans on continuing with climate smart and economic development. And I'd like to give Michelle a round of applause for all the hard work that she's done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it has been an honor, obviously, to serve the town board since January 2016 and to serve as deputy supervisor and supervisor of the building department. It's allowed me the opportunity to develop relationships with officials from other towns, with the county, state, and federal leaders. But as Ken said, in order to better focus on priority projects, I think that Jay is going to be the person for continuity after the end of this year to continue and with the building department and all those projects. So that's good. And as Ken said, I'll be focusing on climate projects, economic development projects, grants, bond financing, as we were talking about earlier. So I have that to fill my plate for the rest of the year, and I look forward to that. And I look forward to your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. You mentioned here executive session, but I think that might have been a vestige from a previous, I see it in my,
Well, we were hoping to have an executive session to discuss personnel matters, but I understand there's is there a state of emergency order from the governor? I'm not in the state, so I'm south here where it's warm.
if there's not an emergency on that, could we postpone that?
Well, let's see. I mean, if it is kind of a important session, executive session to have, but if there's an emergency order, I guess we have to figure out something else. I don't know, Howard, what we can do about that. And can we have an executive session another day without a town board meeting?
Excuse me, I'm coughing.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's
Why
all
don't we
right.
see, Deidre's already asked to do a presentation that I really didn't have built in, so why don't we try to go through that and see how the clock is after that? And I'll look out the window and see how the weather is developing. How's that?
I'll go fast, I promise.
All right, so I'm gonna turn the floor over to Councilperson Deidre Murphy.
Thank you. I appreciate your giving me the opportunity to talk about this really quickly. I'm not gonna send.
Go ahead and put this
Yeah, just if you could put one of them on the screen. So we haven't had a chance to do all the due diligence that's necessary with this project. But I just wanted to just quickly review where we are, because a lot of these things have to be sort of cleared within the next month. So just to give you an update of what we're doing here, if we could, yeah. Put the first one up. So there's two, if you remember the Burgess study, we had them come in and take a look at what we could do in the hamlet to enhance some of the traffic and some of the pedestrian or tourism.
Deirdre.
Yes.
We can't, it's hard to hear, Deirdre.
Oh, okay. Let me
Take the handheld microphone.
Or this one.
Jerry has it.
Thank you, Jerry. Jerry, I'm taking your spot. Okay, we could put that up. So basically, I just want.
Still can't hear you, Deirdre.
Can you hear me now?
Not really that well.
Okay, how about this?
This is better. Thank you.
Okay. So I just want to run through the two solutions on the east and the west side of Route 17, just so you can all know where we are in terms of getting some pricing and some modifications that we've made based on some research that we've done since this particular study was originally done. So just want to put up the first map. Okay. Can we share? Okay. So what we tried to do is take a look at some of the obstacles that we believe is happening in the hamlet. Take a look at what was basically outlined in the comprehensive plan. And we've pulled some of the information from the comprehensive plan, which basically does talk about the revitalization of the town and the hamlet. One of the things that we need to do, we had a little study done on what the parking issue is in the hamlet, which there are 8 public parking spots in the hamlet currently. And one of the biggest obstacles that we have is that Route 17 is actually the main street that goes through the town. So 2 things we want to do is talk to the New York State Department of Transportation about how we can address that, but that is a long-term project. We did talk to the DOT, but it's a very long project. And this project, which is about pedestrian and about being able to enhance commercial and retail business within the village, as well as the train station. So, trying to get this up here. Okay. So the train station, one of the things, I'm just going to keep talking because we don't have a lot of time. The train station, one of the things that we were proposed by the Burgess study was to add sidewalks that go along on the inside of the current berm, because apparently the parking lot is oversized. So there is the ability to add a sidewalk that goes along Route 17 on the inside of the berm in the parking lot. One of the things we probably cannot do, if I showed you the thing, there's a circular sidewalk that goes around. That probably intrudes on the New York State right away. So the sidewalks would probably have to be limited to town property, and then it would connect to the little road that goes down to that meets the parking lot's pedestrian way. Now, Rob has pointed out that the DOT does have plans that take you through that little park that's there, so we have to investigate that also.
MTA.
The MTA, yes.
And the DOT, because they plan on putting a red light at the end of East Village.
East Village,
Right?
where we were hoping to put it.
They have, I'm sure I can dig it up.
Good.
Of a whole design that they have for there, so people can walk there.
Right.
I guess a little more safely.
Exactly. And safely, it would also block them off because it's a direct, if you were to walk on that pathway, which I did, you're literally right on the tracks. There's no delineation between the tracks and that little thing. So.
That's called Antonelli Drive.
Antonelli Drive, okay. I measured Antonelli Drive
Jerry
personally.
knows what we're talking.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to connect the municipal parking lot following through all the way through the parking lot of the train station. So that's one side. The other side, which we are looking at, is providing crosswalks that go across at Hospital Road, and then taking the pedestrian pathway that's currently right along 17, where you're basically on the highway, to behind onto Store Road, and adding their pedestrian stamped sidewalks. So they're not really sidewalks, they're walkways. So it basically,
They're gonna be flush with the roadway. It's not gonna be raised.
right,
They're gonna be the same plane as the road.
just marked,
Just laid out in a stamp pattern
right,
with different colors.
right. And one of the things in the Burgess study was they were talking about possibly making that two-way. However, we don't have a survey, we don't have an engineering report, but it is our opinion that it probably is too narrow of a road that can accommodate that. So the proposal we're looking at would just have a pedestrian pathway that goes along the backside of the town, which would encourage people to walk there safely, go all the way down to the beginning of Hospital Road and all the way down to the end of, Library Drive. Yeah. So with that map, I hope that you guys all followed me. So with that said, the cost involved in that, and we're doing preliminary work. Of course, my paper on this will be posted on the website so everybody can read it, which has the obstacles, the solutions, and how it relates to the comprehensive plan and estimates of the costs. So this will be on the website, you can all look at it, along with the maps. But again, the maps will change slightly. My class. Yeah, so, just quickly, again, we will post this. Gotta put my glasses on. The surveying of all the properties within the town is $12.3 thousand. The civil engineering, which would be doing all of the, what do they call it? Well, civil engineering. The designing it, and making sure that the levels and how they go and all that kind of stuff, which basically you need all of this in order to get actually tight recommendations from various construction people. That's 31.5. Raised and stamped walkways, which would include the installation of conduits for electricity so that we can put in lighting in town, because there is none. Here we go. Okay, here we go. This is one side. So this would also include lighting and landscaping. That all comes to a total of, including the surveying, the civil engineering, the electrical conduit, and installing flat as well as raised sidewalks on the other side, which is, the raised sidewalks is on the train station side. The total cost would be approximately $315,000, of which we're requesting 50%. The town's portion of that would be about $157,000. So we're asking for about 15% of the total grant from the LDC. So that's it. Just wanted to run through it and give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well,
Maybe when you
also,
come back, we could schedule something, so
Yeah,
we
I'm
have more
sorry. It's
time.
just, I wasn't going to be here.
I want to make sure that, you know,
Yeah,
it's
I
given its
just didn't
due.
want to just post it without some.
So maybe like, at the, April 10th meeting, we could discuss, you know, given a more of a,
I was trying to fit your schedule with the LDC grant applications and everything. That's what's my concern.
I'd be happy to, try to
Yeah,
help
so
you
that's why.
maneuver
Because
that.
I'd like to, you know, get feedback, et cetera, from everyone, but
I understand.
Ken,
Yes,
according to the Tuxedo LDC schedule, we have to submit plans by April 3rd for the April 13th review of applications. So I don't know if we could have a special meeting ahead of time. I know Deirdre's not going to be.
let's talk offline. I'd be happy to help you navigate this.
okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we- I guess we'll do the public comments. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No, I thought we were already to the other concept.
We are to the ever popular, but I don't want to skip over public comments when I know the public is here. And
All of us.
all two of you and anybody who made the effort to come out, we're going to give them the microphone, especially if he has a Yankee jacket on. Okay, Yankees, let's go. Sorry,
First
Terry.
of all,
Let me acknowledge that.
First of all, with the Burgess study, we thought everybody that was here present at the Burgess study discussion, there was going to be a public hearing before any progress was started.
This is such the beginning stages of a presentation, so we're not anywhere near voting on anything right now, Jerry, if that's your concern.
Well, I mean, I think the public should be,
Well, we're going to post this on the website. We're going to, you know, allow anybody to look at it, and then, you know, hopefully, whoever has comments will have comments. I mean,
I don't think it needs a public hearing, does it,
yeah,
Howard?
is that what you're,
Well,
that's what the town board said they were going to do.
no, we said, I think what we said, if I remember
Public hearing.
correctly, is that we were going to get public opinion, and we were going to ask people in the hamlet. I mean, I don't remember saying we were going to have a public hearing.
I think we need to figure that
Yeah,
out.
we'll figure out what we're going to, I
The
mean,
comment
certainly
is,
we want to have.
I'll take the
feedback.
comment as a request for more information from the town board and further opportunity to inform the residents about where we're trying to go
Yeah.
with this. That's a fair statement. That's how I hear it. And this is supposed to be public comment, not public debate. So we're going to leave it at that.
Oh. The second point is, with the recreation department, all I hear is running, runs. You're going to start an Earth Day run. No advertisement, no nothing is going out. So you're only going to get the basic local runners in Tuxedo. Same with the turkey trot. You only had 30 runners, and you tied up all kinds of municipality labor with the cops and the town highway to do that. Why not just pick one day like we used to have for the Tuxedo 10K and settle that, all that?
Okay. I think we just accept the comment.
Yep.
Thank you. Dale, did you have anything? No. Okay. Ever popular. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn at 8:25. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Hi.
Wait,
Howard's
wait,
got a point.
I've got a question.
Oh, okay, I retract the adjournment.
Okay,
Please,
I-
board
I-
recognizes Howard Carter.
all right, thank you. I think you first need to address Michelle's request for an executive session.
Well,
And-
thank you.
and-
I
and either-
appreciate that.
Either deal with it or
It's the first I've heard of it. I'm not really sure what we're actually discussing. I heard personnel matters. I really don't exactly understand what that is. So if I'm being asked to vote on something, it's a little difficult.
I think her intent is to inform rather than to seek a vote. Michelle, my understanding the other day, Michelle came into some information which he thought would be important to share with the board.
Well, if Michelle thinks it's important, then I would stick around and listen. So there will be no action taken.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I can make sure
Correct.
that anyone who's on board as a spectator, as soon as this executive session is closed, we will adjourn. So I can assure you, no action will be taken. So I'll make a motion to enter an executive session to discuss personal matters at 8:27. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All in favor here?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.
Be safe. Tell your men to be safe.
If I could ask those in, Mary, I will send you my